Hello and welcome to the Flow Sub Only podcast. I have been planning this episode for quite a little bit now, and let me tell you guys, I've got some huge news that I could not wait another second to try to tell you guys. First off, as most of you guys are aware, we have our next big event planned. It is the Flow Sub Only Open 4. That's going to be May 5th, 2024, 9 a.m., Oceanside High School. It's the biggest venue so far. It's going to have concessions, which has been long overdue for all the fans. It's going to run very similar to our previous events. Weight classes for kids, women's, adults, absolute divisions, gi and no gi for everybody. We're really excited for this one. My goal is to make this the biggest event so far. I've had anywhere between 250 and 300 competitors at our first 3 opens, which has been awesome. We can't do it without you guys. Your support has been amazing. We want to make this one even bigger, and we want, more competitors. And one of the ways that I'm attempting to do that is through sponsors. Thank you to our sponsors, by the way, which we'll get to in a minute. The absolute division, men's and women's divisions, are going to have $500 cash prize for the men's absolute division, $500 cash prize for the women's absolute division. This is not going to be easy. Honestly, the last absolute division for the men's had 23 guys in it. So if you want to come claim the prize, claim the cash, you're going to have to bring it. We've had some names in this division that are pretty well known in the state, and some pretty well known even further than that. So first absolute men's division winner was Maxim Cote from Homo BJJ. Since then, he's been an EBI veteran. If I'm not mistaken, was on the Canadian Judo national team, MMA fighter up in Montreal as well. Just a super tough dude. He won our first absolute division. He beat Brian James from Atlanta, 10th Planet down there. Our second absolute division winner for the Flow Sub Only 2 was Christopher Villalta from TriStar. He beat Michael Green from Emerald City Jiu-Jitsu in the final. Third place on that one was Nikolay Todorov. And then this most recent Flow Sub Only 3, we had an incredible situation unfold. The semifinals was Joe Copeland from Emerald City Jiu-Jitsu versus Zach Silva from the Academy. And on that side of the bracket, Zach Silva won by, we'll call it verbal submission. Joe couldn't continue. And then on the other side of the bracket, we had Felipe Gunter from First Class MMA up against Chris Douglas from Gracie Jiu-Jitsu Acadia. Felipe was able to secure a heel hook on Chris Douglas and brought him to the finals. And then the battle between Zach Silva and Felipe Gunter in the absolute finals was incredible. Super fun to watch. Winner was Felipe Gunter from First Class MMA. So that puts our absolute division for FSO 4 looks to be pretty amazing. And with 23 guys in the most recent one, my goal here, honestly, is to have a 32-man division. I think that's absolutely possible. And I think with the prize money, thank you to our sponsors, it's going to be fun. It's going to be a lot of fun. Women's absolute division, that's going to be same thing. $500 prize money for the women's absolute division. Anybody that knows me knows that I truly want to support women's grappling. My daughter grapples, my students grapple. So for me, that is super important to have the ability to support women's grappling. I think that it's something that is definitely being more supported now, but still lacking in the signups, and the coverage is getting better. But Flow Sub only won First place, we had Haley Martz. She beat Sandra Walczyk in the finals. And third place on that was Meg Gleisner. And then for the Flow Sub Only 2, we had Shauna Schroff from Flow BJJ. She beat Sarah Hunt in the final of the FSO 2 Women's Absolute Division. And then in the FSO 3 Women's Absolute Division, we had Meg Gleisner edge out M. Gauthier from the Academy for the Women's FSO 3 Absolute Division. So I'm hoping that we can put together a really, really solid bracket for the women's division as well. Again, $500 cash prize for the winner of that. We're going to have all of our normal opens. Kids, get your kids signed up. We've got a couple adjustments to the rule set, just stuff that we want to implement for safety for the kids. So I'll go over that right now. We're removing the ability to do standing guillotines for kids. We are going to continue to allow it on the ground, but standing guillotines, we noticed we just ran into an issue safety-wise. We want to keep everybody as safe as possible. So standing guillotines has been removed from all the kids divisions. You have to be on the ground to finish your guillotine. We will allow a warning since this is a new rule. The first time it happens, assuming it's not malicious, it's just going to be a warning. The referee will let the child know that that's not a legal submission. The match will continue. And then if it happens again, it will be a disqualification. Second adjustment we're making is to the kids' overtime rules. Kids' overtime right now is very similar to the adults, where with EBI overtime, you have the choice between back control and the armbar spiderweb position. For the kids going forward, referring to the smaller kids, not the teen divisions, we're going to allow only the back control option because what we're finding is the overtime armbar rule puts our refs in a really tough position because all of our refs are instructed to stop the armbar before it is fully extended for the kids' safety under regulation. So when we have an armbar choice for overtime and these kids are immediately getting their arms extended, and then a lot of them have the flexibility to get out, but that's not our goal. Is not to test what the limits of kids' flexibility are. That's not a call that I want our refs having to continuously make. So we're going to minimize it down to just back control for the overtime under the rare circumstance with kids where they each get the full ride time, which I don't expect, but it could happen. We'll go to a second overtime and then go from there. All right, now I want to get you guys to some information. If you were on social media recently, you probably saw a teaser post with practically no information called the Flow Sub Only Underground, coming February 2024. I want to give you guys details. I'll be perfectly honest with you. I just came up with this, and the moment that I came up with the idea, I immediately wanted to implement it. And I'm going to need some sponsors here to help make this happen. Here's what we're going to do. Flow Sub Only Underground is going to be a 16-man tournament. Anybody can enter. It's a $100 buy-in to enter. Winner of the tournament is going to get $1,000. They're going to get free entry into the Flow Sub Only Open 4. And they're going to get the number 1 seed in the Absolute Division. So, $1,000 and number 1 seed to come back and defend what you've won and try to win 500 more at the FSO 4. All right. This details are still coming out. Dates have not been settled yet, but it's looking like it's going to be sometime in the middle to end of February. And this is going to be an underground show. So unlike our previous squads events, this event is going to take place at Flow Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. It's going to be a small gym show. There's going to be 16 competitors. There are going to be no spectators, but we are going to live stream the entire event on Facebook and or YouTube. so you all can see exactly what's going down. Again, mid-February, late February, Flow Sub Only Underground, $1,000 cash prize to the winner, $100 buy-in. Anybody can buy in. I am looking at a weight class of under 205 pounds. If you're 155 and you want to enter, bring it. 185 and want to enter, bring it. Anybody under 205, that's going to be the weight class. 205 and under. Belt doesn't matter. School doesn't matter. You got $100 and you think that you can win it all, message me. All right, guys, that's all I got for today. Stay tuned to future episodes of the Flow Sub Only podcast. So what I'm going to be doing, my goal over the next few weeks and months is I want to bring on some of the high-level competitors that we've had on the shows. I've had a podcast recently with Andrew Tackett. We've had some others on the show. Definitely go check that out. Tackett is that's a fun listen. Awesome dude. If you have not listened to the episode with myself and Professor Miguel Benitez, you absolutely need to do that. Professor Miguel owns Montgomery Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu in New Jersey. He's a fellow Tom DeBlas black belt. He is the head ADCC ref for ADCC North America, host of the Tapping In podcast, and his Tapping In podcast has just announced that they are the sponsor for the women's absolute division. So they are putting up the $500 cash prize for the women's absolute division, which is amazing. Thank you to them. I do also want to shout out to Hutchins Woodworking. They are putting up the prize money for the men's absolute division. So definitely check them out on Instagram. It's Hutchins Custom Woodworking, all one word, no spaces on Instagram. And then definitely check out Tapping In Podcast on Instagram as well. Thank you guys very much. I will see you all soon.